So we are going to dive into how to play defense on empty sets. I had a request here to cover adjustments or what I like to focus on when facing empty sets here. So in my main playbook currently, which I've switched to Pittsburgh playbook, they have empty trio. So plays that you're going to usually face in empty, you're going to typically face verticals. So you can see here we have all go, and then you're going to face some sort of play with double whip routes and drags. You can see we have double pivot, shallow cross, and then also hitch corners is a very popular play that people will call out of empty. Sometimes, depending on the five wide, you'll have to deal with jet touch passes. I don't really do anything special for empty jet touch passes unless they're completely like destroying you on it, or if they basically, I mean, if they're running it a lot, you may want to come out with something different in order to stop it, which I can touch on that as well in the video. But mainly here, we just typically cover this formation here with running our typical 3 high odd, which we'll get into coverage adjustments next. Before we dive into the breakdown here, like I do with every video, I'm just going to go ahead and touch on how to set up my 3 high odd defense. To begin here, you want to make sure that you have auto flip on. And then at the very bottom here, packages, you want to go ahead and make sure you have a slot cornerback package turned on. And then we also use cover 2 shell. The play we're going to call here is cover 6 Willie, and let's dive into the breakdown. So to begin here, we're going to first break down what we look for, what we do versus all go. So basically what I do here for most sets, I have 3 types of shells that I like to run on defense. I'll just quickly go over the shells that I like to run. So from here, you want to put the corner here on the left side. You're going to put them in a cloud. And then the safety here, Carnell, you want to go ahead and put them on an inside third like this. And then for the blitz here, you typically start by moving this guy over. And then I usually always user my linebacker here. Now another shell here that I like to run is just doing a cover 2 shell. So you're going to put this guy in the right Oliver and a cloud flat, safety, and a deep half. And then this guy here, you can either leave him in a hard flat or go ahead and put him in a vert hook. Now, OB over here, I typically, if I think they're going to be in verticals, I'm going to leave him manned up to the tight end because I'm going to typically switch stick to this guy right after the snap, and then this guy will go ahead and run with the tight end. But we'll obviously cover that in just a minute. So the other shell that I run looks like this. I'm just putting this guy in an outside quarter, putting this guy in a curl flat, and then this guy in a third over the middle, and this guy goes in a deep half, and this guy goes in a cloud flat. Now, there's obviously a lot of adjustments for that here, so I don't run this shell a ton just because you face a lot of quick hikers online here. So if you feel like you have enough time to do it, definitely use this shell. Otherwise, the first 2 should definitely be fine. So for all go, you can see here that I leave this guy, my linebacker here that I'm using, I leave him manned up to the tight end there, number 12. And then I'll go ahead and typically run this shell a lot versus it because I put Carnell on a third in order to defend this seam streak that number 1 is on, that Stutzman's right in front of. So what we typically do here, once they hike and I realize that the tight end is running all go, I just switch it up to this guy, and then I'll run with the drag. And then I will show you here in replay best that I can what will typically happen here, because this guy's manned up, my user. You can see he's going to jump up and cover this route. So there's nothing that they can do here because this guy is going to most often time either swat or possibly pick the ball because he's still manned up to him. So it's completely taken away that route. And then this guy here is being defended by the deep half. So it's as simple as that here to defend all go. So I'm going to show double pivot and shallow cross here. So for setting up the defense, we're going to leave this guy here shaded down because we want him to try to guard either the drag coming across the field or the whip that's going to be on the tight end route. And then what I usually do here as well, we typically will use this guy in a cloud flat and then set this up regular like this, or you can run the cover 2 shell versus this as well. Now I'm usually going to put my linebacker here in a hard flat because we want to take away the flats. So if they're running the whips here, you can see he got a few yards, but number 28 here is going to make a play in that most often. Otherwise, I can also just run down here with the tight end, because the short side hard flat is going to guard number 0 here that I'm standing in front of. So you can just kind of, as soon as you bite down and recognize the play, you can just bite down on it, and then you take everything away. So let's just hit the replay real quick here. A lot of this is just play recognition and just knowing what plays they're running or that they typically run. That way you can put zones on the field to take it right at their go-to routes. So like right here, they're obviously going to try to throw the whip routes. He's not open. And then I switch stick down to the safety here, Woodson, in order to take away this. And then we just cover the in route over the middle of the field. So there really isn't much that they can do there at that point. So we're going to go ahead and also just show this versus the other play here, shallow cross. It's going to be the same sort of coverage adjustment. I typically like to run cover 2. And then leave this guy in the hard flat. You got the clouds on each side, and then I'll run a hard flat here. You can see nothing is open here. And the other thing that I really love about this defense versus 5 wide is you can't block it, because you need to be able to block your running back. And then, I mean, I obviously have a video explaining what I do in order to block it, so check out that video if you want to know more. But you can't block it out of 5 wide. You can see it's coming every time. And then you can see all I did was sit in the middle here, and I took away 3 routes. So this drag here on the right might have been open right away, but I just switched it to my safety here. I sit in the middle, and then by the time they look and see this guy's open, he's running into this linebacker here, number 4, and then I'm just sitting here in the middle, and I'm taking away the other 2 routes. So let's go ahead and dive into the last play. So we're going to cover hitch corners here. I do my standard setup versus it just because you shade down with it. So this guy here, Stutzman, is going to guard the short hitch on the right-hand side. And then this guy here, he'll just sit to guard both the corner as well as the hitch on the left. Now what I do here, I usually will put this guy in a yellow, or you can leave him man up to the tight end as well, because usually they're in a post route at the tight end spot there. But I'll usually put them in a yellow just so I can cycle around and switch stick in order to take away the middle of the field. So once they hike here, see, I switch stick to take away this route. And by the time anybody might even get open, he's getting sacked. Let's do it again here. I basically will always switch stick to my safety to take away the middle of the field. But yeah, there's no reason you shouldn't be running this against 5 wide, because they can't block it. There's no way that they're going to block it here. Even if they motion over somebody and motion block or motion hike in order to get him to block at the line of scrimmage, he's just going to whiff. He's going to come right through. Unfortunately, it's just how the game is. So we take advantage of that versus 5 wide. Let's run it one more time. So you can switch stick to the right even if they're going to try to throw the corner. But for the most part here, everything is shut down. So in the event that you're getting just destroyed by jet sweeps here out of empty sets, so I'm just going to show obviously defense setup here, and then we're going to show empty sets. If you're just getting destroyed by it, I'm going to go ahead and user my safety here, and then instead of using this guy down here and like putting him in his adjustments, you can just leave him here and like put him in his hard flat, or leave him manned up, or put him in his zone over the middle of the field with vert hook. Now all I'm going to do here, you see the woods in here, in a lot of my videos here I explained how I stop the run here. I'm going to hold my stick in the 4 or 5 clock position, my left stick, and then I'm going to hold turbo as soon as they hike the ball. So once they hike, I'm going to do both those things, and then I'm just going to sprint down and click off. You can see he got a yard. We can do it again here. And this just completely takes it away, so they're never going to be able to get a bunch of yards on jet sweeps. It's just never going to recognize me. The defenders are never going to recognize me. It's just an issue with the game. It's why a lot of pro players are able to stop the run so easily. It's because they know about this, so they just simply will go ahead and do this to stop the run pretty much every time. You can see he's gotten a gain of 2 yards. He broke a tackle there and then fumbled. But you can see we are completely shutting down the jet sweep, just doing this one little thing here. So if you guys haven't, I definitely recommend taking the time to go into practice mode and just get used to doing this, so when you do face this in game, you don't have any troubles. So if you guys do find this video helpful here for shutting down empty sets, make sure to hit me with a subscribe, like the video here. We're going to go ahead and begin my Pittsburgh offense this week.